having been duly nominated to serve
as
County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
as County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
do hereby solemnly and sincerely swear
that
the information that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Okay. Thank you. You can take your seat to sign the oath. So thank you. That's Douglas Asita Wekesa.
Yes.
You are before the Committee on Appointments. This committee chaired by the Speaker, Honorable Situma Emmanuel. Have members of the committee. They'll have say their names.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Stephen Wafula Amalwa, MCA, member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Juma Nyongesa, member of this committee.
Joan Kirong, member.
Honorable Seneca.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. My name is Anton Seneka, MCA Bukembe West, a member.
Chair, Honorable Baling Mutiambu, member.
Chair, Honorable Iftarit Wangila, member.
Chemion Masai, member.
Mkhongo Barasa, member.
Makari George, member.
So with me I have the principal, senior clerk, legislative, clerk committee services. Introduce your team.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Joktan Kabey. I'm the senior clerk, assistant committee services, and with me we have a team of secretariat who are going to do their self-introduction.
You
Chair,
proceed.
Chair, I'm Elijah Odera, research officer, member of the secretariat.
Caroline Omalo, member of the secretariat.
Chair, I'm Edward Musumba. I'm legal counsel, a member of the secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. Diera Calistas, Chief Sergeant Am, member of the secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ruth Wanami, senior clerk assistant, member of the secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Mash Manase Misiko from Communication Secretariat member.
Thank you. You switch off your microphone. We'll ask you questions in turns, starting from the chair here. You'll be having rejoinders to the questions put to you by the honorable members. I want to ask you the first question. You give us a summary of which Douglas Asita Wekesa. In the meantime, if you have any document that we may want to rely on, that's what we require, then you must just have a notebook only, and nothing else. You don't require to refer in anything else. You only need to have you have a copy of the questionnaire there? Yes. If you have a questionnaire, you only take the questionnaire. The rest, keep them aside. It's okay. Thank you. Now, just give us a summary of who is Douglas Asita Wekesa.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I am Douglas Asita Wekesa. I'm 43 years old. I'm married to my loving wife, Ruth. We've been blessed with 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. I was born and bred in Kabula Ward, that's in Talitia village. I started school in 1985. That was in Talitia Primary, and sat my KCPE in 1993. Thereafter, I proceeded to French School Kamsinga, where I did my KCSE in 1997. There was always a 2-year break after that before you join university. But rather than staying home, I went to Strathmore University and enrolled for CPA, Certified Public Accountant Examinations. That was in June 1998. By the time I was proceeding to University of Nairobi to study Bachelor of Architecture, I had already done up to Section 3. So while at the university, I continued with my studies at Strathmore and finished CPA. That was in the year 2002. Thereafter, I concentrated on my architectural studies and completed in 2005. Architecture as a profession, you are required to work under a senior. So we also go through some form of pupillage for 2 years before you admitted to the role of architects. So I was admitted in the year, that must have been 2007. So since graduation, I've been practicing for about 18 years now. Luckily for me, besides architecture, I had an ambition, some bit of political ambition. So in the year 2017, I tried my luck at politics. I participated in the elections for MCA in Kabula Ward. I came in second. The beauty of that election was to open my eyes to the reality of life and the challenges that the people in Kabula Ward were going through. Thereafter, after that, I was appointed the chair of Bungoma municipality. That was in around 2019. All of you know, I think most of you 100 members.
We don't know.
Sorry.
We don't know.
During our tenure, we were able to do the municipality integrated development plan. We were able to push the executive so that they transfer the functions to us. Unfortunately, while the law provides that after transfer of functions, resources should also be transferred, we were not fortunate since the resources were never transferred to the municipality. So that hindered our progress. So it's a question which maybe the former administration, the former governor and his team might be able to understand better why they never transferred those resources to the municipality.
It's too early to start lamentations before we start asking questions.
Thank you, Chair.
What you are doing now, you're reading the book of lamentations before the committee.
Thank you, Chair, for that.
Take at this early stage.
And Honorable Chair,
I think
the nominee is saying that he should inform if he ever resigned early enough because he has a lot of lamentations.
Well, I resigned.
When did you resign?
It was in, I had it in my letter, it was around February.
That was basically for political reasons, not because of the lamentations we are telling this committee. So we'll go to the questions.
Yes.
I'll start with Honorable Chemion.
Thank you, our nominee. Welcome to this vetting committee. Before I look at other questions, I want just to refer to your questionnaire. You have your questionnaire with you?
Yes.
Look at question number 18.
Yes.
Just explain what you mean by being what you have written, the Association for the Needy Children of Kenya, defined Mercy Center. Is it in Bungoma or that one that is in Kakamega?
Oh. Thank you, Honorable Member. Association for the Needy Children of Kenya is based in Nairobi. This is an an NGO that was being run by Brother Boniface Sakwa, who is my neighbor in Talitia. So I joined to support his initiatives as a member of the Association for the Needy Children of Kenya. He is also the chair of Divine Mercy Center. He runs his services based in Nairobi, around Kino area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 25. You have given us, tell us your net worth and how you are able to amass that wealth that is there within the shortest period that you have worked.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I've been practicing for 18 years now. I consider that quite an industrious period. Our training as architect is such that we work day and night. And the nature of our profession is that you charge fees.
Just on that note, when were you made the role of your profession?
In 2007.
So where are the 18 years coming from?
I'm counting since I graduated because I was practicing chair.
Without a license?
What happens, my senior would sign for me while I was still
So you are saying you are masquerading as your senior? As simple as that? Thank
you for that correction, Chair.
You are masquerading?
For those 2 years that I had, thanks for that correction. Okay. So my net worth is 98 million. I have a home in Nairobi. I have a home in Bungoma town here at Sinoko. I also have a home in Kabula, that's in Talitia village. I also have some interest in properties in Nairobi, as well as here in Bungoma town.
You know what he wanted?
Yes.
You give us a block, 98 million.
Yes.
Now, give us the breakdown
okay.
of this 98 million.
Okay.
These around 3 homes, and he has told us he is married to one lovely wife. These are the 3 homes. Who stays in these other 3 homes? Unless you're telling us they are rental apartments, not homes. But if you have one lovely wife, you must be having only one home. The rest should be rental commercial.
Let's hear from him the breakdown. Let's hear the breakdown, because I'm very sure Honorable Hong is very interested in knowing that.
Okay, thank you, Chair. My house, I have 3 homes. I have 3 houses. One house in Nairobi. I estimate it at about 25 million. I have a house here in Sinoko. I estimate it at a similar amount of 25 million. I have a house in Talitia, where I live. I estimate it at 10 million. I own property in Ngong, half an acre. My estimate is 5 million. I own property in Syokimau. My estimate is another about 5 million. I own property in Utawala. My estimate is about 5. Here in Bungoma, I have a property just behind Namachancha School. My estimate is another 5. While in town as well, I have some property in Muskoma, about an acre. I'll give it about 8 million. An acre.
8 million. The Muskoma property, yes.
I have an acre in Ndengelwa. I'll give it about 4 million. I have 2 acres of land in Wamunyeri in Kabula, where I have planted trees. I'll give it 4 million because of the value of the trees. I own about almost an acre of land next to Nabreria Secondary Primary School, also with trees. I'll give it about 2 million. I also own half an acre on Wamunyeri Road, where I've also planted trees. It's half an acre, I'll give it at about 1 million. I have some cash at bank. At the moment I checked today morning, it's about 3 million. So I also have some few liabilities, but if you are to total, it should become it almost that 98.
No, you are at 105 million.
Minus liabilities now. Minus liabilities.
When you say net worth, I think you don't have to count what you owe other people. You ought to be telling us
Chair.
Net worth.
No, Chair, net worth means assets minus liabilities.
So from your computations here, it's more than what you are telling
Those
us.
are the assets I've given
It's
you.
okay. Now, back on
So
that.
allow me to give each chair, if you mind.
No, we are done there.
Okay.
On this number 27 on the questionnaire, you've spoken about pro bono charity donations.
Yes.
You've done a list of those items here below. Were they not done because of politics?
No, Chair.
Let's be very honest here, Douglas.
No, Chair.
You are saying supported various small churches in Bumula with the cement between 2017-2022. Very specific Bumula, although you stay in Kandui. Then supported 4 students at KMTC. I'm very sure they must be coming from Bumula, not Webuye West where I come from, or Tongaren, or Mondelgon, or Kapchai for that purpose, or Sirisia. And even the classroom construction is in Mwiruti in Kabula Ward. Were they not basically political donations?
Chair, allow me to respond. Charity begins at home. It will not be fair for me to go looking for people away from home to assist when my own are in need of help.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Charity begins at home. But in all this charity you've so far done, you are still at home.
Yes.
You've never moved out of your home.
No.
Yes.
There are enough issues in the area I come from, Chair. So why would I go looking for issues elsewhere when even I alone, I'm not able to help the people?
So this charity of yours will never live at home, is what you are telling us.
Sorry?
Your charity
begins at home.
Will never leave home because it's just Kabula, Bumula. Kabula, Bumula. Although you have a home in Kandui, in Sinoko, and even land in around Bungoma, charity just remains in Talita, in Kabula Ward and nothing else.
No, Chair, the best thing is for me, I try to remove the speck in my eye before I move further away from my
Honorable
home.
Speaker.
So,
yes, Honorable Stephen.
The nominee has to be aware also that even the position he's been nominated for, if ever he's approved and takes charge of the same, problems in that area will not end. They're not just about to end and become, smaller than he may think. So, in essence, he's trying to say that he will concentrate there because charity begins at home and because those problems are so many there.
We've taken note of that, don't worry, Honorable Stephen. We've noted that. Honorable
Thank you.
Simeon, finish.
I look at the DCI certificate. If you open that area, you will find that we don't have a certificate, but we have a receipt of payment. The DCI, the good conduct. Have you seen it, members?
Honorable Member, I submitted a certificate.
Is it there?
Yes.
It is there.
Okay.
2nd of November 2020 is available.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
Now, my question is this, our nominee. If you are approved to be our CECM lands, which policies do you intend to initiate and implement to ensure smooth operations of the department? Which policies do you intend to initiate and implement?
Thank you, Honorable Member. What I'll do first after, Honorable Members, you've approved my nomination as the County Executive Committee Member for Lands, Urban, Housing and Municipalities. The first thing I'll do is to get into the office and understand the policies that are existent. Because it will be unfair for me to start talking of the policies I'll bring, yet when I get to the office, maybe most of them are there. So allow me, Honorable Member, once I get into office, I'll look at what policies are already in place. Then with your permission, we'll formulate more policies and come back to this house, to this assembly for your approval, so that we help make Bungoma a better place. But for now, allow me not to say, because I don't know yet, I've not been there at office.
Honorable Chemion?
Chair, we are just asking for your intentions. What do you intend to bring in? Because we need to know you. We need to know what you are bringing to this county.
Okay.
on it.
Yes, Honorable Mkhomba.
You know, Mr. Sasita,
Yes.
you are going to assume that office. Let's say we are going to approve you. If you don't find anything, we'll just sit. Is that what you are telling in this committee?
Okay. Honorable members, one thing that I have observed, like for instance, most of the pedestrians walk on the streets, not on the verandas fronting the shops. So the pedestrians are in competition with the vehicles. So one of the foremost things I intend to do is, while talk to my colleagues at the county executive level, so that we find ways of telling people who have their wares fronting shops to take their wares into the shops, so that the pedestrians can walk in those verandas. And by doing so, we minimize the amount of, we allow for vehicular movement. And when we allow for vehicular movement, we're also trying to minimize accidents that might occur because of the pedestrian and vehicular interruptions. That's one thing I've observed, and I intend to discuss with my colleagues at the county executive level. Second, we need to also to appreciate that the county government does not exist on its own. So we'll also look at the housing policies that are available. One thing that I've been able to observe while I walk around, we have very few houses within this county for the county government. So if we look at the Agenda 4 program that is being laid out by our president, they intend to roll out a lot of housing into more municipalities. So my take is to get into office, look at what is there. Do we have the land necessary? If the PS for land, for housing, chooses that they want to invest in Bungoma, do we have the land? If we don't have, we need to come up with a policy whereby the county government buys land, so that when we buy that land, we come before you, you approve, we buy land, so that we have land ready for housing. So, should I proceed or?
Chair.
Chair.
You know,
Proceed.
You are in charge of lands, you are in charge of physical planning, yes. You are in charge of housing and municipalities. You know, you should be telling us the policies that you intend to bring into play if you are
across all these departments.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So when you look at the urban planning perspective, the other issue we have is Bungoma is not well planned. So we need to, apart from a special planning that was done by Muskari Kombo when he was the Minister for Local Government, we are yet to come up with a proper master plan for Bungoma. I know there's been an attempt, while I was in the municipality as chair, there was an attempt to expand the boundaries. But when you expand boundaries, there are also those challenges that come with those expansions. So if Bungoma municipality has the idea, which I want to pursue to become a city, we need also to come up with a policy from which we can work towards making Bungoma a city. I know Kisii and Nyeri might be ahead of us, but with the proper planning and with your assistance as an assembly, we should be able to realize and make Bungoma a city. I've discussed, sorry?
Let him finish first, Honorable Joseph. Let him finish first. You are done?
Then the issue of land. What I know is that we've had serious land fragmentation, and we're finding a solution to that. For the disputes that are there, my take is we find ways of solving the disputes of land as a community, so that we minimize many people going to court, because most of the courts are, if you ask me, I think there's a backlog of cases. So if most of our issues on land were solved as a community, I think it will be a better way.
Yes, Honorable Joseph.
You know, Chairman, it was just a follow-up of what Honorable Jemion asked. And when he was answering, he said he's aware that Bungoma is not well planned, which I do agree with him. But he has been in the position of a chairman municipality. And he's referring as that since Mr. Kombo left, and he has in that office for 5 years. Now, what new thing did you bring on board when you were the chairman of municipalities?
Thank you, Honorable Member. When I was chair of the municipality, we prepared the Municipality Integrated Development Plan. That was a document that was to assist the municipality take off and perform most of its functions. Unfortunately, after the transfer functions, resources never followed. So it became a limitation. So it's like putting the cart before the horse. We could not be able to move. It was a big limitation for the municipality.
But in his introduction, he said he was pushing the executive. So why not also pushing for that resources?
I tried to push the executive. I had a few meetings with the former governor, but they were not bearing fruit.
That will let you in reading lamentation, that book of Lamentations, for failing to push the government. It's okay. Now, my question before I go to Honorable Joseph, in 2013-2017, there was a task force set up by the governor to fact-find public lands in the whole of Bungoma County. Then when the new governor came into place, in that time when he was doing the savings, he set up a task force again to fact-find and be able to bring a report to the house on the land that was owned by the county municipals, townships, and land meant for the public use, mosques, hospitals, adult tips. Now, if in its wisdom this committee recommends you approve as a CEC lands, what will you be doing? Because those reports have never found their way on this floor of the house. And we hear from the from graveyard that basically the owners of the lands that are in question were the same people setting up those committees to investigate. How will you be handling such situations?
Thank you, Chair. I want to promise this House that once approved, I will look for those task force reports. Then allow me to be one of my first assignments to make sure that they are public so that I bring them to this floor of the House. Then after going through those task force reports, then we'll see whether there were any recommendations, and if they are still worthy pursuing, then we'll pursue them.
Will that be your first 100 days in the office?
I don't want to say 100 days. Once I locate that task force report, Chair.
There are two. There are two reports. Yes. The one for the first government between 2013-17, and again 2017-2022. There are two task force reports on land, public lands in Bungoma County.
Chair?
This is some documents that are in the office of the county government of Bungoma. It can even take him even 5 days to look into those reports.
No,
if he's serious.
Will be flexible, first 100 days.
Well, those are so many days, my honorable chair. If he's really committed to serve the people of Bungoma.
First 100 days.
That is an area we are very much concerned, honorable chair.
Honorable Joseph, please.
Thank you, Chair. I hope this one will not irritate him, because actually in his questionnaire he said he fight for MCA Kabula Ward. Toftalis is here, and you know in any election there is no number two. We always only count the winner. Again, he tried in 2022 as an MP, but all was unsuccessful. So, do you think the public have trust in you?
Thank you, Honorable Member. The public has trust in me. But as you have put it quite clearly, there's always a winner and losers. So I would like to also congratulate Honorable Vitalis for having won in 2022. I never had the opportunity. So when I offered myself...
And you stay in Kabula with him?
Yes. Okay. So in 2022, I tried my luck in being a member of parliament. My desire is to serve the people. And I have a feeling I'm being given this opportunity so that I serve the people. Maybe the route I had taken is not the route that God had planned for me. But here I am before you, Honorable Member, being given an opportunity to serve the people of Bungoma.
Yes, let me allow Honorable Seneca to go first.
Chair, arising from what Honorable Nyongeza has raised, he voted on Fort Kenya ticket in 2013, yes, and Fort Kenya 2017, and Fort Kenya ticket on 2022. Are you being rewarded as a Fort Kenya diehard with this position?
Honorable Member, Honorable Member, there is no reward I'm being given. Being a member of Fort Kenya, the party leader was the former Senator Wetangula, now the Speaker of Parliament. I'm here as a nominee of Governor Lusaka. Governor Lusaka looked at my experience, my expertise, and found that I qualify and am suitable to serve as a CEC member for lands, urban, physical housing, and municipalities. There is no reward I'm being given, honorable member, here.
Yes, Honorable George Makari.
To ride on what Honorable Nyongesa, the majority leader, has said, and this will not offend you, Sasita, or you will not get offended. Can we be right to say that we bring your sense of judgment in question? Because having failed as an MCA aspirant in 2017, how did you gauge and judge yourself being an MP with the previous experience of having failed to clinch an MCA seat?
Honorable member.
And that means, Honorable George, next elections, he may be a gubernatorial candidate or like a senator candidate.
Yeah.
You may never know, or women rep. because he believes in the policy of not repeating the same classroom.
Honorable member, my desire is to serve the people in any position. So whether it's MCA, MP, or county executive member, what I look for is an opportunity to serve the people. I'm not so keen on the title, but a desire to serve the people.
It's okay, Honorable Joseph Nyongesa, we finish your question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just another concern that he has been the chairman of Bungoma municipality. I know he understands the challenges facing the municipalities, even in Kimilili, in Bungoma. Now, given this chance, how will you fix those challenges as a CEC?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Our municipalities have a lot of challenges. For instance, when you come to Bungoma municipality, one of the biggest challenges they have is where to dump waste. Well, there's an area that has been identified, but now the challenge that they have is the resources and capacity. When it comes to capacity, I'm talking about the human resource, people who have gone to school and have the technical know-how on how to manage those dump sites. My desire will be to approach the County Public Service Board once the county executive approves, so that we enhance the capacity of municipalities, so that we come up with ways, we bring on board people who can help us manage those dump sites efficiently, because it's being done elsewhere. I think Bungoma can also do. When you look at the population of Bungoma, it's growing very fast. The sewer that we have was done many years ago, but all of us are relying on that sewer. Fortunately for us, not everybody is connected to that sewer line. So we need to find a way of expanding the sewer line that is in Bungoma County. So I will also be approaching the county executive. Then once we come up with a policy, we present it before this house. Once we approve, we find ways of expanding the sewer in Bungoma, so that we can also plan for the future. Housing is a challenge that I discussed earlier. We can partner with the national government under Agenda 4, so that we also provide more housing for our people, for our staff. And if you honorable members are also interested, I think there's also a possibility so that we also co-own those houses as a people. When you look at our roads, drainage is an issue. And where drainage is an issue, it means most of those roads don't last long. So given the background that I have, we also need to find ways of enhancing the drainage of these municipalities. All these challenges that the municipalities have are tied down to making resources available. So I'll be begging you as members of the county assembly, when you present requests that municipalities need to be properly funded, you'll be helping us by approving those necessary budgets so that we can be able to provide better homes for all of us. If we are to achieve Bungoma becoming a city, the challenges are even greater. They are even greater. Because it means we have to increase like the paved roads to 50%. It means we need to provide water to 75% of the homes. It means we need to look at least now we have a university. Bungoma, we don't have an airstrip. Our hospital needs to be an advanced level approaching level 6 hospital. So there are so many challenges of the municipalities which all of us understand because this is our home, we live here, we interact with them every day. So my prayer is you assist us as an assembly to overcome those challenges by passing the necessary budgets.
Thank you, Honorable Seneca. Honorable Seneca.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, yeah.
Is there a rejoinder? It's okay. Just put on the hands that you're not, it's okay, yes.
You know, Chair, Mr. Sasita is telling us as soon as the House will be approving or appropriating funds towards some of the developments he wants to undertake, you will be, if you will be approved, you will be sitting in the cabinet. There are so many occasions we have approved the budget as a house for a certain department, but when the cabinet sits, you will see some cuts across all the specific departments. When they come or appear before some sector departments, that is committees in the county assembly, when we ask, we say, we appropriated these funds for development A, B, C in your tocket. What happened? They say the governor suggested that we remove this money. What is your opinion on that? Because he's your boss, you can't contradict him.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As the County Executive Committee member for lands, urban, fiscal, housing and municipalities, I'm tasked to present before this House the annual development plan. That document is in our County Government Act. So my understanding, we are here to follow the law. So it means I'm supposed to prepare that annual development plan, present it before the County Executive Committee. Once it's approved, that's when we bring it to this House for approval. I understand certain circumstances change. We live in a dynamic environment, like if it was in COVID time. If the executive had not come back to you to revise their strategy, fiscal strategy paper, I think it would have not been possible. So I anticipate there will be a few challenges, not as many as there are here, but my prayer is once you approve the annual development plan, we'll try to stick to it with a few amendments if they are necessary.
It's okay, Honorable Seneca.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I have 3 questions. The first one is that nowadays you buy a plot in town, you find on your left someone is putting up a flat. On the right, maybe you've put up a bungalow, someone is putting up a maisonette. And behind your plot, there are several shanties coming up. So as a registered professional architect, what plans do you have to ensure that proper building designs are approved that will eventually lead to decent housing and sustainable development within the county? Number 2, we've been buying land through World Development Fund for dispensaries, for ECD classrooms, for cattle dips, and for VTCs as a devolved function. And most of these parcels of pieces of land lack titles, while others are not even fenced, making it difficult to be traced. As a CC, what plans do you have to ensure that the said parcels of land are secured? And the last one, you find that 80% of residents in Bungoma County, they don't have titles. What plans will you put in place to motivate them so that they can start processing land title deeds? Putting in mind that what President Ruto said last week, that freeholder landholders are going to pay taxes. So how will you pay tax if you don't have the title deed? So how will you motivate these residents to start now processing title deeds so that they can pay tax in compliance with what the President said? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Allow me to start with the first question. Bungoma lacks a master plan. That's why you find a maisonette next to an apartment. You see, when you do a master plan, you have proper zoning of areas. You'll have a proper zoning for high-density neighborhood areas, low-density neighborhood areas, industrial zones, recreational facilities. We are talking of parks. We'll also talk of the roads. There will be the CBD, now we are calling it the commercial center. So what happens is once I get into the office, my task is we need to come up with a master plan for Bungoma town as well as the other upcoming municipalities so that they become a basis for the future development of our towns. The beautiful thing is where it has happened, there is what we usually call revitalization. Revitalization, we are trying to change the use of that facility. So that we can also engage and see whether we can revitalize those areas and give them a different purpose. A good example is if you go to Nairobi today and walk to those lower sides of River Road, you'll have a different experience now as compared to the experience you might have had 10 years ago. So the place can be replanned to be accommodative. Another challenge that we have is the approval system for plans in Bungoma. So my take is once you have a system, I mean an online system, so that the approval process is done through an e-platform, it will become very easy to monitor. Then we also increase capacity for our county, because if you walk around, you might be shocked. We might not be having an architect employed by the county government. We might be having very few planners. So one way of tackling this is by increasing capacity. Once we increase that capacity and do proper inspection, follow-up during construction, it'll be very easy to enforce and come up with a better city. Second was about the land that has been bought by this assembly for certain purposes, but they are not titles. I remember saying that the
not
biggest...
assemblies, the county government of Bungoma.
The county government, sorry. So these lands that have been bought and don't have titles, the biggest challenge is because those titles were still on the grandfathers who might have passed away. So unfortunately, you have to go through the succession in courts. So when it gets to court and you're doing that succession, as a county executive member, I can only liaise with the county attorney for further advice on how to speed up that process. But in terms of legal matters, I want to be honestly clear, I'll have to seek advice on how you can process the succession process so that those titles come out in hand. Perhaps in reference to that question whereby the president wants to tax freehold land, maybe we should take it back to him that, look, here in Bungoma, we have a population of about 1.5 million. If we go through the statistics and get the number of households, I don't have those figures with me here, maybe those households will guide us to how many titles we are supposed to be having in Bungoma. So we can talk to him. If we get these households to have titles, then you'll be able to get this amount of tax from those properties. Perhaps it will now come whereby the National Housing, the National Land Commission and the Ministry of Lands at national level, which are charged with processing of titles, might find the need to speed up the processing of titles for high-density counties. Thank you, Honorable Member.
I'll go to, you are done?
Not yet.
Yes, please.
Mr. Kese is saying we talk to the president. Who will talk to the president?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think there is a forum whereby the county government can liaise with the national government through the intergovernmental, I think it's Intergovernmental Relations Committee or something like that. I don't recall how it's properly called. So we can use that and liaise so that we see whether they can assist us.
Yes, Honorable Tiambu.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sasita,
yes, ma'am.
I was elected on a Jubilee ticket. I'm a member of Jubilee, MCA Malakisi Ward. And you are a for the Kenya member. You have signed, you vied for MCA, you came to vie for MP, and you are noted that you are a member of the for the Kenya. I just want to say, if you are approved by this House, we have 45 wards, and the government of the day is for the Kenya. How will you allocate resources on this in the county?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I agree I'm a Ford Kenya member, but I'm here because I want to serve the people of Bungoma County, not Ford Kenya Party. So my interest is the people of Bungoma County. That includes Jubilee, UDA, Ford Kenya, DAP, all of them. So what I would like to do is we'll allocate resources depending on a formula that will be put. We'll agree as the county executive. Because maybe this, as an assembly, honorable members, you might decide we use a certain allocation, so we'll go by that. If you want us to use population, we'll go by that. But I don't want to talk before I get there on the basis that will be used for allocation of resources. It will not be on the parties.
Thank you, Honorable Muhongo.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sasita. In Bungoma County, we have so many rental houses, which are the properties of the county government of Bungoma. We have been getting rent from those houses across the county. But when you look at the status of those houses, they are not in good condition. Yet, during the budget cycle of the county government of Bungoma, the previous ones that has been there, and even this one, they always allocate or underfund the department. And you are going there and we have so many challenges, and we want to enhance this issue of revenue collection to support the county executive to run some programs. What measures will you put in place to ensure that the department gets the right full allocation to improve on those houses?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think the first thing I'll do is to do an audit. You see, my background as an architect, I'll be able to understand the nature of housing once I do carry out a necessary audit of the houses that we have. After that, then I'll come back to this house for your support. Because for me to be able to renovate those houses, this house must approve a budget. Then when I go back to the county executive committee, if there will be any possibilities of deviating those resources, I will fight for it, because a good environment is very key for the performance of anybody who is living in that house. So I'll put my foot down and insist on even additional funding so that we renovate and make those houses better places for people to live.
It's okay. Thank you, Honorable. Now I'm coming to you now, Honorable George.
Just an interjectory.
You can do the rejoinder and ask yours.
All right,
Yes,
Chair.
please.
Chair. Now, just about the housing, what Honorable Muhongo has talked about. I don't know if you are aware, most of those houses are occupied by even families of officers who left employment long time ago, and some of them are even transferred to Nairobi, but they left their children here. So they are not even county employees staying in those houses. Two, even some of them are occupied by chief officers who left employment, but they are still occupying those county government houses. Some of them even employees who retired, but they are still occupying those county government houses. Yeah, maybe as a CEC coming in, which hopefully I know you will go through, if this committee approves you, don't celebrate yet, I mean. But
Douglas, don't take those words seriously. You are fertilized with the police committee as a whole.
But if you are given a chance, what are you going to do about this issue? Especially away from the dilapidated buildings, but especially on houses that are occupied by people who are not supposed to occupy them.
A very good example is the house opposite Members Club.
Yeah.
The occupant is basically the DCIO.
The CID
officer.
And he refuses to
He
move
refused
out.
to walk out, so that they put there a machine of...
Was it the city scan?
Yes.
Yeah.
That house belongs to the county government of Bungoma. He's an employee of the national government, but he refused to vacate that house. How will you be handling such a situation?
Thank you, honorable members and chair. I would like to appreciate you bringing me to light of some of the situations within the housing. My take, to start with, there must have been a lapse during the transitional period, because during that transfer we were supposed to take stock of the assets that were supposed to have been transferred from the national government to the county government. So most likely there must have been a lapse during that transitional period. But since it has happened, it means now I can only liaise through the Intergovernmental Relations Body to reach out to those other organizations so that these facilities, which are supposed to be facilities of the county government of Bungoma, are transferred to the county government. Because it's also not fair just to evict somebody. We have to follow the due process of the law. So, honorable members, allow me, I will do my part and follow up through the necessary organizations so that those houses come back to us.
Okay, it's Asita now. Let me come, before I come to my substantive question. You've been a municipality chairman. We never saw you being very active in agitating for the municipal functions. You were there as a stooge, not as the really chair of the municipality. What do you say about that?
Honorable member, once you get into a public office, you have to act in a way that brings honor to that office. So once you get in that office, I'm not allowed to behave like you, honorable members, whereby sometimes...
What do you mean?
Sometimes...
What are you trying to impute about my honorable members here? That they behave in which way?
Sorry, Chair, for that.
Members, you've heard him, is imputing part motive against the committee.
And it's on record, Chair.
It's on record.
Yeah. Sorry, Chair, for that. So my take is I have to act in a manner that brings honor to that office. So there was no way I would go picketing, yet I'm the state officer.
I didn't mean you demonstrate on the streets, Chairman Ronald. I said we never saw you actually coming out and saying our functions have been curtailed. Maybe not in the forum of the streets, but at your own level as chair.
Thank you, honorable member. I remember we had a session with the committee that was in charge of municipalities where we shared our sentiments with that committee that was in charge. We were never given an opportunity to come before this assembly and present our views, but my understanding was once I speak to a committee that is part of this assembly, we had communicated to this house.
All right, now, you said you have a home in Nairobi.
Yes.
Who is the deputy governor of Nairobi? You being a resident of Nairobi City County.
Honorable member, I've forgotten that. I've forgotten.
Who is the chair of COG?
The Council of Governors. Her Excellency Anne Waiguru.
All right. Who is your counterpart at national level in the Ministry of Lands?
The PS for Lands is...
your
CS.
counterpart.
The
CEC, okay. The Cabinet Secretary for Lands is one Mr. Zakaria Mwangi.
Is that true, Chair?
It's very true.
Good. Now, the President is out of this country as we speak. Are you able to tell this committee where he is and on what mission?
No, honorable member. Allow me. I'm not aware where he's gone to.
As a CEC member, you are not aware?
I'm not aware, honorable member.
All right, I come to my question now, briefly. His Excellency the Governor in his maiden speech in the County Assembly made a commitment to transfer municipal functions, resources as envisaged and enshrined in the Municipality Charters, Public Finance Management Act 2012, County Governments Act 2012, and the Urban Areas and Cities Act amended 2019. As a CCM, if approved by the Assembly, what will be your maximum number of days to ensure all the relevant functions are transferred to municipalities, keeping in mind that you should fast-track legislations that will delegate functions to municipalities, which should be forwarded to the county assembly for approval? Maybe, how many days do you think we should give you to ensure that these functions are transferred to your successor as a municipal board?
Honorable Member, I think 2 months will be sufficient given the fact that we are working, cutting across all the departments, getting staff from different departments to work together so that we transfer all the resources to the municipality. 60 days is sufficient.
I hope those members that are in lunch committee have taken note of that. 2 months. 2 months, he says 2 months.
60 days.
60 days.
60 days. The chair is here. Chair, back to you.
Now, out of curiosity, as you are promising those 2 months, and be very honest with this committee, is that municipal board still in existence? You having resigned, your brother Honorable Jeremiah having resigned, sitting behind there, Mohammed having passed on. Is that board still in existence? The one you want to hand over to?
Honorable Chair, Honorable Mr. Muhammad had passed on while I was chairman.
You yourself resigned?
We did a resolution forwarded to the CEC member then.
No, you know my question is very simple.
Yes.
You are before us, you resigned. Honorable Jeremiah is in this house as MCA for Musikoma. For Tasore for Township. Muhamule passed on. Your brother, another colleague of yours, was a candidate in Musikoma ward. Okay? What was the quorum of your board?
Thank you, Chair. The quorum is 5 members.
5 members. How many were you?
We were, after the Muhammad passed on.
No, how many were you as a full board?
As a full board, you were 9.
You were 9.
Yes.
Now, in the absence of the people who have resigned and moved out, are you seeing you having a quorum of handover to a board again?
Honorable Chair, I think they still have quorum.
Do you have quorum?
You still have quorum, yes.
There are 5 members in that office.
We are counting the CEC, the chief officer.
The CEC is not yet there. Then the CEC, I'm very sure, is an ex-official member.
Honorable Chair, I'm assuming somebody will be handing over the office.
No, there's no automatic.
Approved.
There's no automatic passage here. Yes, Honorable Vitalis now.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, first allow me make this committee aware that our nominee by the name Douglas Asita Wekesa is somebody I know. He's from my ward, Kabula ward. I know the family of Kabula, only of Kabula Titalitia, but the other families, Mr. Chair, I'm not aware.
The one for Snoganarobi are not known to you.
Yeah, I'm only known to the family at home Talitia.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Chair, I would like to ask our nominee, because this is Bungoma County, and I know you have been a chair, a very big position in this particular county. You have heard of the land that is in Musikoma. The county government of Bungoma bought land in Musikoma during the first regime for the purpose of constructing the governor's official residence. To date, nothing has happened to the land. As the CCM for this position, if you are approved, what plan do you have on the same, for the same land? And Mr. Chair, I'm becoming worried because in one of the submission, our brother Douglas said that he owns land in Musikoma, and now that there is land for the supposed to be constructed the residential area for the governor, I'm worried he might move to.
No.
I submit. I submit.
No, Musikoma as an area, as a ward is so large. So if you do not know, Inikandu is one of the largest wards. So when you say that he has land around Musikoma and the land that is in question for construction of government residence in Musikoma, don't worry about that one. Musikoma, even a mango in Musikoma, George knows that. So I think it's just in order. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I'm aware the county owns land in Bungoma. The exact size I've yet to come across the title to know, but I hear it's about 30 acres, 30 or 32. Thank you for the assistance. So while I was chair of Bungoma municipality, we were lucky to get some grant from SWED, Sustainable Urban Development. They were to assist the municipality come up with an economic development plan. And one project that they had, while I was there, that they were envisaging to do was to move the bus park to that land and a market as well. So since I left, now that with your permission, I'll be coming back, I'll check whether it's still on track. My understanding is that 2 acres is quite a lot of land for a bus park and a market. So there will still be sufficient land if we are to do the governor's residence. But I don't know the budget, and I don't know what bill that was passed in the last financial year, whether the governor's residence was included as one of the projects. So, honorable members, once I get an opportunity to go through to know the projects that were part of the annual development plan, if it's part of it, we'll execute it. However, if it's not part, with your approval, honorable members, my take is, why can't we commit part of that land for the housing that the president wants to do under Agenda 4? It will be your guidance that will dictate on what to do with that land.
It's okay, thank you. Now we'll go to Honorable.
Before Speaker, Honorable
Yes,
Chair,
please.
we move on that
Honorable
issue.
Stephen, you prepare?
Because we are dealing with the issues of land. I stand to be corrected. Most of our auction rings belong to the Department of Lands, I think so. And when you move around, there is no market that we have constructed an auction ring. And we are losing heavily as a county government because we are not generating revenue from the auction rings. What is your take on that?
As you do so, what is at meeting is basically in these markets, the people who partake buying and selling of animals avoid the ring by selling outside the ring to evade paying taxes to the government of Bungoma. Okay? So as you answer, have that in mind.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Joseph, you have a rejoinder?
Chair, you know we have interest in that field.
Honorable Mohongo, you have declared your interest in that field.
You know, Chair, even within Bungoma, where he has been the chairman in municipality, there is no auction ring.
Now I was going, even those who sell poultry around in Domiano, there's no ring for that purpose. So as you answer, do so.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I agree there is no auction ring, but how to tap into that, with your permission, allow me to do some further research so that once I'm approved, I should be able to come back to this assembly and share my findings on how we can tap into that. Because setting land aside for that is not sufficient.
Thank you, Honorable Stephen. Then as Stephen does so, I think Honorable Kirong, you prepare?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, before I pose my question, I want to draw back that the nominee has been part of the board, not only in Bungoma, but it was one of the boards in the county. There was this desire that some other towns are actualized into municipalities. A case in point is Webuye, Mechwele, and there was also the hyped talk of running up with time so that other areas can also be made to be municipalities in the near future. Having sat on the board of Bungoma, headquarters of Bungoma County, now, can you maybe share some light on the vision and how achievable that is, because outside there people are expectant, especially in Chwele and Webuye.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I sat on the ad hoc committee for Bungoma and Kimilili, whereby we were able to find that they qualified to be given municipal charters. I never sat on the Chwele and Webuye ad hoc committees. Having said that, the biggest thing that we were looking, the essential thing with the creation of municipalities was we were trying to tap into the funds that were being given by the World Bank under the Kenyan Urban Support Program. The way the World Bank had formulated, they are giving money, giving grants to county municipalities. They were looking at the number of people. If you had a population that was bigger, you are being given a bigger pie. If you had a lesser population, you are given a lesser pie. That's why in the early years, you'll find Kimilili municipality, which had a higher population and a bigger geographical area, was getting more than Bungoma municipality. That was what necessitated the expansion of Bungoma municipality, the boundaries. These other municipalities, the idea was we wanted to tap into the resources so that we be able to fast track the development of these areas. So my take is once you approve me as the CEC nominee for lands, once I get into office, I will check to know the status. Because my understanding is like I don't think they have been gazetted by the Cabinet Minister for Transport. I'll check onto the status. Then thereafter, I'll have to follow up to know whether the Kenya Urban Support Program will still be continuing and whether they will use the same parameters while allocating grants to municipalities.
Mr. Sasita, you sat on the board in Bungoma. What do you think are some of the areas that the government failed in the process of making Webuye and Chwele municipalities? What do you think was misses that denied those areas privileges of becoming municipalities? Because from where we sit, we hear says, not approved, but here says that there was some mismanagement of information and process.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I've not had a privilege to hear those hearsays and stories, so kindly allow me
to look into them.
To look into it.
And where you sit, you did not have maybe experiences that you think were negatively affecting the same or positively affecting the same?
Honorable Member, when I sat in the Kimilili and Bungoma ad hoc committee, we were able to get the necessary charters and they were upgraded to municipalities. Now that I never sat in these other ad hoc committees, I can only do research and communicate to this assembly.
Well, now to my question. The department in which you are a nominee for has lagged behind in preparation and submission of the evaluation roll to the Assembly for approval that will necessitate the collection of land rates at the current market value. As a CECM in charge, if approved by the Assembly, what will you do to solve this issue, considering the fact that there are plot owners or business people who do not pay rates for their property even after the governor's waiver? I don't know if I should repeat, or are you okay?
Thank you, Honorable Member. My take on your question would be, the challenges we are having are because we've not embraced technology. If we were to embrace technology and put the right systems in place, it will be very easy to know who has paid and who hasn't paid at the click of the mouse. So my take with the approval of this assembly is you allow the county executive committee to bring a proposal so that we allow us to embrace technology. Once we do that, I think we'll be ready the systems will be able to run efficiently.
Just a rejoinder, he was very specific on, you spoken of the technology, but mine is basically on valuation rates, because I'm very sure the last time it was revised is over 20 years ago, and we lose revenue in terms of lacking the current valuation charter, like whichever name they call it. What plans do you have that this county it increase its own revenue collection?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Allow me to go and do some more research because I don't want to commit.
Now, when you are doing most of the things, you are saying research, what's going to happen? No. So do we defer scoring and say research?
Why I say this, Honorable Member, I don't have all the information as to the procedure we need to follow when we are increasing or reducing the rates that are applicable.
That's what I've given you. I've given you a hint that they always prepare evaluation role. Take out public participation.
Yes.
The people participate in their views. Then from there, they bring down new rates for people to pay rates.
Chair, I have some information.
Yes, Honorable.
You know, don't promise this committee will be doing research. How many times will you be doing research?
And we are supposed
yet
to
we want you to work. You know, Honorable Chair,
yes.
You are informing him.
Yes.
Some time back, I was invited in a workshop in Kisumu, and we deal with that act, Rating Act, Pollution Road Rating Act. So it is there. Just go and request for it if you will be approved by this Honorable House. And then first track.
Underline if you will be approved, very important for a committee.
Because we want to have some funds from the Rating Act. Honorable Speaker, we are losing. You know, we are not collecting and meeting the target of revenue. And it is part of the sources of revenue, Honorable.
He is our Chair of Finance.
And I'm concerned because yes. I will. As a Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
So, Honorable Kirong, you take up your question. Honorable Kirong.
Thank you, Chair. I want to ask the nominee. Kimilili and Bungoma municipalities needed nominations of members to the boards subjected to approved by County Assembly as a CECM. Which commitments are you going to make to ensure the existing two municipalities are functional? Also, in terms of funding, for how long is the World Bank going to fund the municipalities?
Thank you, Honorable Member. The nominees for Bungoma and Kimilili municipalities were approved by the last assembly. For those who have joined politics, passed on, or resigned, once their the appointments are done, whether by the association or the governor, they will be brought to this house for approval to replace those that have left us or have resigned. So regarding funding, I can only check with the World Bank to know for how long they will assist our municipalities to get onto their feet. But over time, municipalities should be able to support themselves to raise the necessary revenue to support themselves. So my understanding is after a while, World Bank will stop supporting municipalities. We must be able to generate enough revenue to sustain our own operations.
So, Karom, you are done? Yes, now, this is from me. If appointed to the position of the CEC for lands, how do you navigate the relationship between the Assembly and the Executive? Because we have the previous record, which you are aware in person, that the ending Assembly and the Executive had very frosty relationship. They won't be able to see eye to eye. And you being part of the Executive, how do you plan to navigate? Lastly, this is with the experience I'm having as the Speaker for the second term, we always see promises or sayings before the committees during vetting, and they make promises to the Assembly. Once they are given the appointment letters that are sworn in, they become rock elephants. And when summoned, they used to refuse to appear before the committee. If this committee in its wisdom recommends you for appointment, and you are summoned to come and clarify issues in your department or concerning your department, will you be able to come and answer those queries?
Honorable Chair, I want to promise I will honor all the invitations.
And you are unanswered.
I will honor all invitations to appear before this House and answer questions when there is need. Regarding the relationship, it's my prayer that we work together as the county government and the county assembly, because all of us are serving the same person. So I will be open and I will be available when there is need.
Majority, you have something to say?
Chairman, just a concern on the issue of funding from the World Bank. You know, I didn't hear him clearly, kindly.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. World Bank currently funds through the Kenya Urban Support Program. But my understanding is they are only helping us take off the ground.
The question was, how long are they going to fund the municipalities?
How long, I cannot know, and I cannot answer for World Bank.
That's where the worry is, Chairman. You know, he has been the chairman for the municipality. And the issue of World Bank funding, if he is not aware, and then, anyway, Chairman, let me preserve it.
So that will leave it for us. We'll see how to handle it. I think members, we are done. Anything, Honorable Seneca? You are done? Members, we are done. I think you are done. Thank you for coming for this vetting process. We wish you all the best as we retire to consider your submission before this committee. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Okay, Sante.
Give your name.
That's me.